Rev up your engines!
Well, certainly the decline of electric cars is going even faster than what I thought. Fiat just announced that it's going to reintroduce a gasoline-powered 500 Fiat because many drivers don't want the electric version, right? Who didn't see that one coming, right? Even the Europeans think they're stupid ideas. The CEO of Fiat, Olivier Francois, hey, you think it should be an Italian guy, right? It's Fiat, but no, it's a Frenchman. He says there's been slower than anticipated sales of EVs. And they're Fiat 500s, too. You got a combination of a crappy car and a crappy electric car all rolled into one. And what he claims is, and I quote, all but the youngest drivers have turned their back on electric cars. Because the young are young and stupid. They don't know anything. Right? They don't know it's going to cost a fortune to fix them. They're going to break. They're going to get stranded somewhere without electricity. They have no experience, so they can be sold a line of horse manure about electric cars a lot easier because they have no experience of actually driving cars and seeing what it's like to fix them, how much money it costs, how easy it is to fill up with gasoline and what a pain it is to charge these electric cars. But of course, the head of Fiat also said, this will be the final version of gasoline ones before they go full electric by 2035. That's 11 years from now. A lot of things can happen between now and 11 years from now, right? They're just trying to push the stuff. People don't want it. And as we all know about anything that's a political hot potato, things change radically, not in 10 or 11 years, sometimes in 6 months. People don't like it, they vote the politicians out. Somebody else comes in and says, hey, there's no infrastructure. We can't spend trillions of dollars for this stupid system that doesn't work all that well in the first place, right? Well, even Fiat's finding out this stupid little electric car, guess what? It won't cut the mustard. K Patel 139 says, I have Toyota Camry engine noise. I recently had an engine replacement because my head gasket went. It's a 2014 Camry LE. The new engine is now making this noise. The engine has 91,000 miles on it as a 1-year warranty. Toyota dealer said to drive 500 miles and the noise will be gone. All right, well, numero uno, they're giving you a line of horse manure. You don't have a new engine. You've got a used engine with 91,000 miles. Now, sometimes if somebody rebuilds an engine, it might make a little noise for a while and it'll quiet down as things wear in. You don't have a rebuilt engine. You just have a used engine. If I have somebody bring me in a Toyota Camry that's got 91,000 miles in it, it shouldn't be making any noise at all. Those engines can last a really long time. That tells me that they sold you a crappy used engine. It's making noise. It should not make noise. That's the problem with used engines. You're rolling the dice, hope that it's a good engine. You don't know. Maybe the previous owners didn't change the oil enough. Even a Toyota, if you don't change the oil, the engine's going to be ruined. So the Toyota dealer's just covering their honey saying, we hope in 500 miles the noise goes away. Why would it go away? It's a used engine with 91,000 miles on it, right? It's already well worn in. If it's making a noise, it means there's some kind of a problem. Right? I mean, I would document it all, tell them this is nonsense, but if you say 500 miles, fine, I'll drive it 500 miles. The noise is still there, take it back and say, give me another engine. You sold me a junky engine. That's the problem with used engines. You never know. And they said it had 91,000 miles. I know guys that run junkyards. First thing they do, they get a wrecked car, they put the engine and transmission, they take them out of the car, put them on the floor, out of the rain, inside one of their sheds or inside the garage, and then they lie. If the car had 200,000 miles, they'll put 91,000 miles. You could never tell. It's not in the car anymore, right? Moore Jr. 173 says, my Kia Sedona has a startup knock. I got a 2012 Kia Sedona with over 180,000 miles. It runs good, but when you start it cold, the engine knocks and stops 3 seconds later. Once it's warmed up, it doesn't. When you get a knock like that, if it goes like and stops, that's rod knock. The bearings on the engine wear. Then instead of the piston going up and down smoothly, the bottom's worn, so but it's such a small amount of wear, a few thousandths of an inch. Once the engine heats up and the oil gets there and the pressure builds up, it fills the space and doesn't knock anymore. But it means your engine is on the way out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a Kia. I'm surprised 2012 is still running. A lot of those engines just blew up long before that. You can keep driving it. Sometimes they can go a while before they finally go. But that engine is going to blow at some point in time. The rod knock, eventually the bearings let loose and then the pistons knock a hole in the engine. It's goodbye car. It's not worth rebuilding the engine, so I wouldn't say take it apart and rebuild it. It just isn't. That's one of the reasons I tell people not to buy Kias. Their engines aren't that good. They don't hold up all that well. Even when they had that recall where they had to fix or replace a bunch of engines. They even did a sloppy job with it. I had customers that had them replaced. Then 9 months later, those engines went out. They're not very good engines. Believe it or not, GMC once made an RV that pumped your sewage through the exhaust system and threw it out the back. I am not making this up. It was an early 1970s motorhome, and it had an option. And the option was called Thermosan, that had heat sanitized the poopy water in your tank in an RV and then threw it out the exhaust. Now, granted, it only started doing that when you're driving more than 35 miles an hour. Now, most people don't ride trains anymore in the United States, but ages ago I did. And you would see in the bathroom, it says, do not flush toilet while in station, because the poop would just fall on the track in the station. They wait till you're driving out in the country, then it threw the poop on the tracks, and what the heck? It was the railroad's property anyway, so they're pooping on their own railroad tracks. Well, this thing was throwing supposedly sanitized poop water because it went through the exhaust. They said it sanitized it and evaporated it, right? And they put them in a GMC motorhome. It used a wiper motor power system for spraying the poop water in the exhaust so it gets hot, supposedly sanitized, and evaporated, and then flew out the back of the exhaust system. Now, they did say it had a screen to keep big pieces of poop from getting stuck and thrown out. So it wasn't throwing turds out the exhaust, hopefully, right? Thermosan called the exit and, I quote, ejection orifice. You can't make this up. So the way it worked was when the vehicle went over 35 miles an hour and the exhaust temperatures passed 900 degrees Fahrenheit, it would start throwing the stuff in. And it would do 5 gallons per hour, or 1 teaspoon per second. But it did have one problem. One employee who installed the stuff says you often end up with a hot diaper smell coming out the back of your RV. Woo, hot diapers. Imagine you're following this RV. All of a sudden, honey, I smell these hot diapers. Have you changed the baby lately? GM once sold an RV in the early 70s that threw poop out the exhaust. Supposedly sanitized, but giving off a hot diaper smell. Hey, that's just what we need, you know? They said, oh, it didn't mess up the roads too bad. I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't want to be following one of those on a motorcycle. This mist comes on you. Woo-wee! Well, you know, the lies they tell you about the wind turbines are going to last forever, right? Well, I just got back from Rhode Island, and off the coast of Massachusetts, guess what? The Nantucket beaches had to be shut down because pieces of windmill blades had shattered already, and they just started putting these things in 2024, which is this year, right? Check it out. Here's some pictures. Sharp shards of fiberglass wind turbine blades. They're just putting these things up, and one of them broke already. And they're lying and saying, oh, they'll last 15, 20 years. These things, they just put them up and they're breaking already. Why people fall for this stuff is beyond me. I just find it ironic. They just started building these things and already they're breaking. There's not much hope. They haven't had any giant storms or anything yet either. It's just another scam pulled on the American public in the idea of greenness. Really not green. It doesn't create that much electricity. And yes, they break all the time. They don't last long. They don't make that much electricity. These ones, they were just putting them up and one of the blades broke already. It's unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up. Well, old Elon's at it again now. He says he's going to move the SpaceX and X headquarters to Texas. And he's blaming California privacy issues. This is how nutty the state of California's gotten. Governor Newsom in California signed a new law that bars school districts in California from requiring parents to be notified of a child's gender identification change. Yes, the world's gone insane. As Elon said, for once I agree with him. I did make it clear to Governor Newsom about a year ago that laws of this nature would force families and companies to leave California to protect their children. Now, this is insanity. The school can't tell the parents that the kid wants to be called a rabbit or whatever ridiculous ideas going on in their head, right? It's bad enough that these are under 18-year-old people. Parents are taking care of them, raising them, right? They bar the state from telling them this? This is just insanity. It's absolute insanity. For once, I agree with Elon. This woke stuff has to stop. It's gone too far. People have lost their minds. Young kids don't know what they want. They don't know who they are. When I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a garbage man because I saw the guys riding by in a garbage truck, riding on the back of the garbage truck, riding along, hanging. It looked like it'd be cool, right? No. Did I end up a garbage man? No, I didn't, right? And it would have been a limited career anyways, because now they got the garbage trucks with an arm that does all the work. There's just a guy driving a truck, and that wouldn't be fun at all. It would only be fun riding on the back, right? So, for once, I agree with Elon. They've lost their minds in California. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.